All right, guys. Today we're going to go over business plans for Tom Ferry. I personally have to do my business plan, so I figured I would record it while I'm doing it, and I'm going to show you where you can go to download your own business plan. I'm a firm believer in if you write your goals down, it's a lot easier to achieve your goals if you know exactly a clear direction of how you're going to get there. So the goal for 2018 is to know exactly what you're looking for income in this business, what you're planning on doing for lead generating and getting deals, and then following through and being accountable to yourself on how you're going to achieve your goals. So, let me clear my screen. So with that said, I'm going to go to Tom Ferry's website. Again, this is raw, in the moment business planning for 2018. I think I have a clear direction, or I have an idea of what I want to accomplish in 2018, but I don't know for sure, and so we're going to go through this together. Me personally, it's going to be more about numbers for not only closings, but also growing the company. For you guys, it's more about transactions and clientele, so just know that going forward. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Where am I? Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I'm at tomferry.com, and I'm double checking to see, are you able to get a free online business plan model as well? By going here and filling this information out, will it allow you to go to the next screen? If it doesn't, now just know, if you go to Tom Ferry's website and you use their model to do the business plan, you're going to assume, I'm going to assume that you're going to be getting calls from Tom Ferry's sales team requesting that you do coaching. So just know that if you decide to use their online program to do your business plan, and if you don't want that, there's a PDF also, but I believe this online one is a lot more user-friendly. And then let's go agent. What is this? Agent. Download. Let's see what happens. Simply click the button to take your online scheduler to pick a day and time to go over. Yes, I want my free coaching. If you don't self-schedule. Okay, does anybody see anything on where we get? Oh, here's your business plan. Best year ever. So I would click that. And here you go. Oh, you know what? I'm going to download this and email this out to everybody, or I'll have this attached on the back end of the website as well. Oh, it doesn't print from this printer. Anyway, so I'll attach this to the back end, but here is the business plan, PDF style. So let's make sure we get this onto the back end. Okay, cool. So with that said, I'm going to jump over and actually do mine right now. So here's my online business goal. Gross commission income. So gross commission income for myself, I'd like $250,000 in gross commission income. Now again, this is my personal sales goal for myself when I'm dealing with clientele. Because that comes down to about $20,000 a month approximately, which would come down to about 3 transactions a month is what I need to see in order to hit that goal. So in my head, I already know my goals. Expenditures, I'm spending typically on average 0.5% of the gross commission on advertising and marketing. So with that said, I'm at about $12,000 a month. That seems a little excessive. I'm probably at about, well, it depends. Am I doing this personal or for the business? What do you think?
I would do personal because then it's more.
It's more
relatable.
relatable. I want to say I'm at about $6,000 a month for personal marketing and expenditures. This. So that's going to put me at about $36,000 a year for marketing expenditures just for myself. So that would put me at about $214,000 in gross commissions. Savings, I try to do at least 30%, but that's not realistic. 15% of that I try to put away for savings and not even know that it's even existing. So it's almost about $30,000 a year. Debt reduction. I don't really try to carry any debt. Let's see. Buyers. Portion of my revenue. So I'm at about a 40-60. So 40% are buyers and 60% are sellers. The average sales price is about $450,000. Average commission is about $10,000. Total buyer transactions 10. Total buyer appointments. So if I have, so buyers are tough because you can work with a lot of buyers, but then do they actually convert? Like listings, if I go on a listing presentation, my conversion rate is a lot higher. That's why listings are gold, is because if you get a listing, you're almost getting a paycheck. You could be working with a buyer and all of a sudden something changes in their world, they lose their job or whatever, and all of a sudden you just missed out on 7 months of work. So you got to account for a higher or a lower conversion rate on buyers because you're going to talk to a lot of people about buying real estate, but the reality is only a smaller portion of those people are actually going to move forward with the actual transaction. You really want to focus on listings. Listings will be your page, your bread and butter. So total buyer presentation appointments, realistically, I'd love to see 1 a day, but that's probably unrealistic unless I'm becoming a machine where when I talk to people, all I care about is booking an appointment. And I don't know if that's the level where your head needs to be at, but if you're doing an hour a day of phone calls, you should be able to get 1 appointment in your pipeline because of that hour of phone calls. And if you don't, then you're talking to the wrong type of people. And maybe we need to get better quality people that are actually in the market at buying. Which comes down to this $36,000 of how do I spend my money to get these leads to come in. So I don't think it's unrealistic. I'm going to push for 1 appointment a day, at least. So if I have 1 listing presentation or 1 buyer appointment, this one's talking about buyer appointments. Average sale price, again, about $450,000. Do that? Yep. Average commission, 10 grand.
I think on the first one it says 44.
I'm 40% work with buyers.
No, the next one, sale price.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this back.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I know.
On the average sale price on the buyers, you get 45,000. That's one.
That middle one.
No, the middle one.
No. Average commission, 10,000.
So you just have
You
that
need a
one more
zero.
Yeah, that would definitely throw my numbers off. I'm going to say for my 2018, I'd like to start seeing me work less with buyers because I'd like to give those buyer leads out to you guys. I know I've been converting that over and giving my buyer leads out. So personally, I'm going to push myself to work with a lot more sellers in 2018 than I am in buyers. So I still need 8 buyer transactions, which for my sphere of influence, just without me lead generating, that's realistic. To get 8 clients out of my referrals or past clients, that would be realistic. Total listings taken. Total seller transactions, total listings taken. So what's my conversion rate as far as when I take a listing, how often do I actually sell? I would say I'm probably going to have a failure rate because sometimes you take a listing and sellers just want to test the market. So I'm going to need to take probably 24 listings, maybe 23 listings. So 5 of them throughout the year I won't be able to sell. That's a horrible feeling too. Like I have one right now in Hubbell, we've been on for 2 months and we're not getting any offers and my seller's getting concerned, and that concern is eventually going to turn to doubt, and doubt is going to turn to you're fired. And so I have to really pay attention to why is this not selling and make sure that I'm staying on top of it and staying in touch with her so then ultimately she doesn't have doubt in my ability. That is the difficulty of taking a listing. If it's not priced right or it's not a hot market, you take it and then it doesn't sell right away, and you have to have the perseverance of keeping your client's motivation forward and keeping their expectation on point so they don't fire you, because at the end of the day, it just might not be the right time, and timing is everything in this business, and eventually it's going to be a special buyer, and if you set the expectation that average days are 60 days or 62 days, they're not ready to fire you at day 25 because they don't have an offer. Okay. Total listing presentations. Now my conversion rate for getting a listing to a presentation versus getting a listing, if I have a ready, willing seller and I'm just competing versus other agents, I have a pretty darn high conversion rate for someone to hire me. So I'm going to say I don't lose out that often on listings. So if I go on 25 of them, I probably have to go on 26 to get 23 of them. That's something you have to know on how strong are you when you go to a presentation. But again, yeah.
Do you have the thought process for next year with all this stuff going on that we're not gonna, like the tax or something that's going on?
There's always going to be objections, hurdles, good things, bad things that happen in the market.
Yeah. Like everyone's talking about that stuff for this.
At the end of the day, right now, it's not set in stone, so I don't, people are concerned, well, I use that concern to go, well, now's a good time to sell. If they are concerned, it's a valid concern. I don't have a crystal ball, but if it's a concern to you, then that might be your motivation on why you want to get into the problem you want to get into before they take some sort of tax benefit away. So I could use that to my advantage on trying to get my numbers to where they need to be. Again, I'm listening to what my client's concerns are and I'm objection handling. But no, I never try to worry about things that are going to come in the future because they're not here now. I just worry about right now in front of me, I got a mobile home that I need to sell or I'm going to get fired in the next 30 days. That's my concern. Leases. Anybody want to do property management in the company? Because I don't. I'd love to see, one lease a month. That would be great. Maybe one HOA complex a month or every quarter. But I'm not even going to fill this out because this isn't a big income source for me. I don't see it being a big income source. That's probably a bad way of thinking because it is an awesome residual income and I just don't want to deal with it. And I guess as a business owner, that's horrible because I should want to deal with it because it's a great residual income. Residual income is like, if we get this HOA complex that we're going bidding on for Thursday, that's a car payment. I can guarantee that every month I'm going to have that money coming in and that's a guaranteed car payment. So that's bad on my point. Madison, I need a kick in the butt that we need to get more property management. Okay, so portion of the revenue. If we got that to $3,000 a month in revenue, that'd be $36,000 a year. Out of that $36,000, that'd be a little over 10% of revenue to me. So it's probably going to be about 12% revenue. So if I had $3,000 a month in residual income because of property management, that'd be amazing. That'd be pretty good. How would I have to do that? Say we make, okay, so what does that say? Tenant percentage. I'm at, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that
Tenant percentage is above and landlord percentage is below. Right, but like what does that mean?
Tenant percentages, how many I have rent and then how many are vacant?
Maybe.
Like if I have 15% as the landlord, but only 12% are rented. Average commission is about $150 a property. And that's like 300 properties I have to manage, 200 properties. We're going for a 30-door HOA complex. So with 30 doors, maybe I get 5 HOA complexes and then I'm done. Yeah.
Landlord versus
I'm gonna assume that I have, as a landlord, I have 15% that I'm the landlord, but only 12% occupants. Correct. Like I have 3% that are still trying to get rented.
But you would never have that.
Not around here. So let's make those match. Let's see how what numbers work out, and then we'll calculate it.
Totally. Or would it also be?
Percentages don't add up to 100%. Okay. This is a questionable one. This has to be very small, so if it is the thought process of percentages don't match.
Nice. No, those two have to add up.
Here you go.
So,
Dang, so I need
like
400 leases. Dude, we would have to kill it in 2018. We'd have to have a team under a full-on property
How do you
management
change your
organization.
percentages?
yeah, they have to be higher.
It needs to be like 50-60. Or whatever you want. Not 50-60, but like 54.
Woo.
Is that high enough?
No, it needs to, those two need to add up to 100. Just do 50-50.
Yeah.
Go! 5-0.
Okay, just go with the other one.
There we go.
Okay, so that's more. 166.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense either. Realistically, I'm thinking like 100 leases. Like that's 1,000. 300, 3%.
I don't get what's.
All I want is 100 leases. There, see? That works for me. If we got 100 leases, can we get 100? 100 would be us actually marketing for it, and we pick up a couple HOA complexes.
Yeah.
There's HOA complexes that have like 150 doors. Our organization should be able to handle that.
Is the one behind,
So, question is, are we going to focus on leases for 2018? Yeah,
that's your question.
yeah.
It's hard though.
And what's nice with the agents, if I have the sales staff behind it, then ultimately, if the sales staff is going, I want to get leases, and then they get a residual, that helps the brokers. So this is more a brokerage
That's what I was gonna say.
than it is as an
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
So maybe as an individual, they're like, I want to have 10 leases this year.
Did you do
That's
that one?
$1,000 a month in residual for you guys. And ultimately, if I had my team all working in that direction, we should be able to hit our 100 goal. It's like Judy, James, Melissa, they all make a couple $100 a month for something they did almost 11 months ago. And it's Judy's gambling money. So total lease appointments. So with lease appointments, again, I don't see that. I think the services that we offer in general are very competitive, and for what's going on in the market, we should be able to have a high conversion rate because there's not that many solid property management companies that offer all these online services to their clients and handle all
Did
these
we
problems.
do the background checks and everything here? We do
We
everything?
have background checks, credit checks, online servicing, online reporting, online accounting, vendor lists, bill paying services. We have a full service property management company with no one pushing it yet. Yeah. Because what we don't have is that one property management manager employee that's going to help run it, because ultimately that falls on me and Kristen right now. And we got a lot on our plate. So I need a property manager that's the employee. But okay, so 100, I'd say probably 100 and probably 125 appointments we should be able to get. So again, what does it equal there? There we go. Okay. How many conversions must I conduct to reach my transaction goals? I don't know. Doesn't let me do that. So let's go to next, see what happens. Leads. Okay, lead sources. Past clients, sphere of influence. I tell you, I don't really do a whole lot of for sale by owners. Geographic farming is a big one. Online leads, social. So banks, be prepared that 2018, you guys should be looking for commercial contracts with banks. So what I mean by that is you actually call individual banks, even if they're small banks, you can start with small ones. Any local banks, you try to build a relationship with the bank manager. And that can be by either banking with them. That's always the best way. So like a Coast Hills or a Cesslock, you try to work your way up into the chain of the vice president and president, and you build a relationship with them, and then ultimately you ask them, who is your REO department, your default department, your asset, who's your asset manager? How do you handle any bad assets on your books? And that's how you can start getting corporate contracts to say, hey, when you get a bad asset, you have to foreclose on a loan. I want to be your go-to person. Typically, the credit bureaus will still carry a lot of their financing in-house, but the big banks end up selling their mortgages off to like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. And so then you would start a campaign calling Freddie Mae, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and then ultimately finding out what companies do Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac use. And there's tons of them out there. There's ResNet, REO Trans, 24-hour asset management. All these companies charge a vendor fee that you sign up with them in hopes that when we have the next flood of REOs, you're on their vendor list as a preferred agent in this territory to receive bank foreclosure properties. So 2018 should be a big source for top producing agents or wannabe top producing agents to start signing up for banks. It might be an initial investment that you'll have to put out there. I remember me and my dad had to dump $1,200 to be a preferred agent with Wells Fargo. It didn't pay off for a very long time. And then after about 8 months, all of a sudden we got our first listing. So same thing with builder development. Who's on right now? Oh, hi Nancy. I know you're there. All right, lead sources. Again, agents can be a good lead source if you're reaching out outside of the community, finding out how do they relocate. I didn't see corporate sponsors, but like big companies reaching out to their HR department and asking if you can host a webinar or a seminar about the home buying or home selling process. And then boom, now if you're in with HR, you can constantly send marketing material there that ultimately they distribute maybe in payroll or something like that, where they're an instant connection for you. Demographic farming, relocations. These are pretty much my sources. I do a lot of bulk mail, bulk email, signs, websites, online, landing pages, open houses, circle prospecting. So circle prospecting is calling your sphere of influence, asking for more business. Network events, seminars and webinars. So these are my lead generation. These are the big hot ones. I'm going to add one more to this. Madison, what is it something that, on social media, what's something that we want to, sponsorships. Contact marketing. I would say this is a pretty good feel for like how I market.
What's that call capture?
Call capture, where is it?
On the right side?
800 call capture. So if you have 800 numbers on your sign riders, or you have like a park bench with a 1-800 number on it, that would be the idea. Lead conversion. So definitely phone call. My phone skills are up to par. I need to do video messaging is huge. this is a very big source of how I've gotten really good returns on this by sending video emails. I was doing it a lot more in the beginning of the year and I backed off. So this is something that I need to kick myself and do more of. Social media in person are always great. I'm not a big drop-by person. I think I should do better at that. I think this Christmas we should put together a campaign of like turkeys. I'll go all through my past clients and we'll give away a turkey. Yeah, not like a freaking turkey, but a turkey.
No, like, I understand that part.
I can show like a live animal and be like, congratulations.
I know. But
Put that on the list. Let's do a drop-by
how many?
for everybody that I sold property to this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so all my past clients,
Okay.
you know, either pies or a turkey or
Pies are more weird. I think I would rather get a pie.
why don't we plan on like 50 pies
Like, already
and I'll
have a
go
turkey
around and in the month of December, I'll do a lot of drop-bys.
I'd be like, you're lucky, like this 2 years.
Drop-bys to me, I think would be a great campaign of going back to past clients, finding out when we had an anniversary of a close date or something. And just be like, hey, happy anniversary on closing on your property. I just wanted to give you guys a dessert. I was thinking of you the other day, and here you go. I would say if you did one of those a month, you would get such good, because it's not just what you did for them. They're going to go out and tell all their friends and family about how cool my agent is. And oh my God, I've never had an agent stop by 2 years later and remember the good old days of when I sold your house.
Really?
And that's going to keep them top of mind when they're out in the world and they hear someone, oh, I'm thinking of selling, like, oh my God, let me tell you about what my agent did for me. Because what I've always heard from my friends is, you know, family members that are outside the area, they'll hear about things that I do for my clients and they'll be like, dude, my agent didn't do that. Closing gift, what's that? My agent didn't give me a closing gift. I haven't even seen my agent since he closed. He didn't even tell me that we closed. Escrow had to call me. That's the only thing they remember about the whole transaction. Not that they got the house or anything, but they didn't get the $100 gift at the end that said, thank you, I appreciate you using me. So I think that's kind of a nice little touch. Okay, so with that said, this is how I'm going to get it. Oh my gosh, so it automatically generated what I have to do. Is that right? Oh no, okay, this is just examples. I was like, dang, I get 24 open houses every month.
It's like PTA boarding. Alright.
Okay, so past clients. How's this working? Oh, that's kind of cool. So it, you know, on my past clients, it's giving me an exact target. So my marketing plan for past clients. So past clients, I'm going to do the drop-bys. It's not doing it.
Drop pies.
Drop by anniversary. Did I spell that right? No, I don't think I did. Drop by anniversary. Yeah, definitely not.
There's an I in there somewhere.
There. Okay, so I'm going to go through and find all my past clients, and I'm going to find out when they close, and I'm going to make sure that I make it a point to call them on their anniversary date of their closing and congratulate them and just kind of take 5 minutes and chat with them about the good old days and say, and then ask for referrals.
I thought you were dropping by.
Drop by, same thing. It's either drop by or call.
Oh,
I'm going to make it a point that I touch base with them.
okay.
Drop by or call. I'm going to follow up with a thank you card for their business. Anybody want to add to this? Nancy, you got anything you want to add to this?
No, I think the personal handwritten notes are good.
Handwritten notes, the thank you cards, the drop-bys, the invites to social events. This is always a big one for me. So anytime that there's something going on that sounds like fun, I am kind of like the coordinator in my group of friends. I am always calling my friends like, guys, did you hear about paintballing? Did you hear about this? Always trying to get everybody together. Social events or barbecues at my house.
Scott and Sandy do a client appreciation every 3 months.
Client appreciation?
We do it. Just at least.
Okay, now if you don't have, yeah, that is a big one. If you don't have a lot of clients, this can just be friend appreciation. Like you guys have heard friend Thanksgiving, friend giving, Friendsgiving. We've already done one already this year. It's basically just the time to get together, and then while you're together, people are asking you, how's business going, how's this? Well, you've just now captured people talking, when you do those sort of things, you gotta be very careful to not overwhelm where you're just dominating the conversation about real estate. I've seen that happen in my lifetime where I get invited to things and then I stop getting invited because all I do is talk real estate when I'm around. It's also a good time to turn it off and make them get to know you better for who you are outside of real estate. But you will always slip real estate in. You're just not going to always dominate the conversation.
David, you could also do coffee mornings where you take a prospect, client, friend out for coffee and say, schedule 2 mornings a week where you're taking individuals out.
Coffee mornings. Now, how would you do that where it's not so aggressive about real estate, but yet it is about real estate? What would your phone call be like when you're inviting these friends and family for coffee?
Well, I scheduled one for the week after Thanksgiving, and I just said, gee, we haven't been able to talk for so long. Maybe we could have coffee together. And my intent is really to ask about her and ask what's happening in her life. And in return, I know she'll ask about mine, which is going to open the door for me. I think you have to plant the seeds, but be careful with it because it really is about asking them, getting to know them more.
Yeah.
Because then they know you care.
Then you know you care. That caring goes a long ways. And you have to be truthful. You have to be sincere, I think is the word. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so those are past clients. Networking plan. So where else can I meet? I think the Chamber of Commerce. They've been asking me to get back involved in that. My St. Pat's School Board. Other events, so your gym is a great place to network. This is where it comes down to you personally. I better not put gym on there because I'm lying to myself.
Your triathlon group.
My triathlon group. A mastermind group. Everybody should be trying to coordinate or get involved in a mastermind group. What that is find other people that are not in the same industry, but in the same mindset as you. Hey, I'm trying to grow something for myself. I'm getting started in my career. I'm struggling to get my business off the ground, or I'm starting to get my business off the ground, or I'm converting out from one part of my life into another part of my life. And you're pulling these people together and going, hey, why don't we get together once a month and talk about our hurdles, our objections, our goals, our wins, and how we can help each other grow whatever we're trying to accomplish. And it can be as a mastermind group and I want to be more athletic, I want to be more in real estate, I want to be more business, I want to be more with my family, I want this. It doesn't have to be just about how it's going to benefit real estate, because at the end of the day, it's a networking group. And from that network is going to allow you to grow a larger network with their friends and their family, and everybody's going to know what you do for a living. Okay, so mastermind group. This is a big one. Like my mastermind group are people that don't even live in the area, and we get on the phone and chat about business and hurdles in our industry. One of the companies he's the CEO of a company, a large construction company, and one of his employers ran another employer over at the construction site. And that was a big lawsuit for his company, and how he went through that and handled it was just, it was a horrible, horrible thing, but how their company stood in front of it and tried to do everything right was a big like, yes, your company dominates mine, but to see that sort of problem that you have to handle, and how you handled it and how everybody had to come in and insurance and this, I mean, it was an eye-opener for me to understand liability. Horrible example, but just to give you an idea, like there's things happening outside the world than just your little bubble. And to kind of open your brain up that, wow, there's other industries with other problems and things are going on around you. It kind of keeps you humble. Okay, other networking plans. What's that? So if you want to be an introvert and not talk with people, that would be like a Facebook type social media group. Sure. I've noticed a lot of millennials doing the gaming world. Chatting with people online when you're gaming. You'd be surprised at how big that network is. But that is a horrible use of your time.
Yeah.
But there is a network online of people that game, and you can actually make your avatar as a realtor running around playing 007 and then talking about, yeah, I sold a house and so da da da. Like there is a network there, and there is a gaming world whether you realize somebody, my friends do, somebody is going to actually see that and go, huh, that would actually work for me. I got 5,000 followers online with my gaming world. A YouTube channel. And with your YouTube channel, talk about something that you're extremely knowledgeable about. And then boost that to try to start getting a following of people. Agents would be a great resource for a YouTube channel. And now they're following you, asking you questions, and all of a sudden you've built a referral network for people outside of your industry or outside your territory. Prospecting plan. So that's probably as much as my networking plan. Chrissy, can you add anything on networking? What networks we're involved in? Oh, I'm going to say, kid events. Those are pretty much my networking. That's, yeah. Yep. So if you have anything, prospecting. Calls, so referrals. Calls. So I literally pick up the phone and I ask my friends for business. I want to say I've gotten 3 deals this year because I just wasn't scared to pick up my phone and say, you want to see me succeed? Like I need a pipeline. I don't have a whole lot going on in my pipeline. I kind of need your help. Can you think of anybody that you know? And I did that through my mastermind group. And out of that, a couple of them gave me a couple of their employees that said, yeah, my employee's starting to make some good money and bonuses. And I know he's renting, and I know he wants to buy a house, but he has no idea what to do. He'd be a great person. I reached out, and he was thankful. He's like, wow, my boss told you to call me. That's awesome. Me and my wife have been thinking about buying a house. So that was great. Door knocking. I'm still a fan of door knocking. I'm not scared to do it. It's probably once every 2 months I'll get out and just do it just to get some exercise. But that's only because I have a large referral business. If I didn't have a large referral business back in the day, I'd be going door knocking every single week, like twice a week. Every single weekend, there was a point in my career that every single weekend I dedicated 2 hours of knocking on apartment complexes, asking them, you're renting, why don't you buy? And I would target apartment complexes, and I would go all over the county knocking on apartment complexes' doors. And I did that for a solid year. And I was in better shape, and it felt good. And, but door knocking,
for buyers and sellers.
I was looking for, because ultimately if they move out, or that tenant, I find a tenant and they're like, yeah, I'm a tenant and I am looking to buy. Now I know that that owner might ultimately want to sell because their tenant might move. Or why don't I get the tenant and the owner in contact with each other and see maybe they want to buy, right? And maybe they don't want to move, but they want to own. And now I've created an opportunity that wasn't necessarily there because I planted the seeds. So I'm a big fan of door knocking because at the end of the day, that's our product. You are literally going right out into the field of product saying, I want product. Give me something to sell. And I always use the line of, I can't let's see what the market does, but I ultimately can't sell your house because they're like, well, I don't really want to list. Well, let's throw it out there because I can't get the phone to ring unless I have a product to sell. So let's ultimately get your house on the market to see what sort of activity will happen. They go, oh, okay. I haven't had much luck with the Zillow Trulia making me move. But if I was attempting this, I would be looking at this all across California because I don't believe we have a whole lot of make me move on Zillow just in our territory, which means you'd be calling the same people over and over again, over and over and over again, over and over and over again. Like I think there's only 12 or there's only a handful of people on there. And if you don't know what this is you can go to Zillow and type, and there's a spot on there that says make me move. And it gives you a list of everybody who is a for sale by owner or someone that owns a house that says, if I got this offer, I might consider moving. I would be looking at all over California because if I was to do a campaign, I'm going to need at least 100 people to call. So I need a lot of people on that make me move to make it worth my time. If I call them and they say, yeah, I'm interested in moving, I would use that as a reason to reach out to another agent in that territory and get a referral because I've now built the relationship with the client over the phone about why don't you use an agent? Here's all the benefits of using an agent. And they go, you know what? We've been sitting on Zillow and maybe it is time we start interviewing an agent because we want to get a little more serious about moving. Boom, there's an instant lead. I'd call, I'd get an agent, I'd get the referral, and I'd send that agent over to Santa Ana and they would sit down with the client and get that listing. That is a source of business that could be profitable if you streamlined it and did it correctly. And the only way I could see it as profitable is if you go outside. There's only, like I said, you need hundreds of people to call in order because it's a numbers game. Prospect planning. So also the farming is always a must. I want to say there's always a consistent farming going out. I always have postcards going out, regardless if I have business there. There's always something going out in the mail, nonstop every month. Kristen, are you still here? Okay. At the end of the month, me, my kids, and my wife all sit around the kitchen table putting stamps on the mailers. And it's just a family tradition that at the end of the month, everybody knows it's going to take us an hour. We put a little music on and one stamps, one stuffs, and it's just a chain. And then my kids get a dessert afterwards and that's the reward. So a farm is a must. You can make it fun. Friends come over or whatever and be like, hey, I will supply the beer and the wine and dinner if you help me envelope stuff. Prospecting plans. Of course, you're always going to have calls. You can never get around calls in this business. Referrals, door knocking, farming calls. The social media, Facebook ads. We have created a consistent Facebook ad that is always going out now. Do you know what the campaign is? I think it's like, do you want to buy? Actually, it has a carousel. In the first carousel, it's like, do you want to buy? And then you want to know what your house is worth. And then why use an agent? And then the map of the company. And then the logo of the company. That is our carousel. And we did a big geographic farm. And then I set a budget. I think it was like $100 a month. And I just said, don't stop running. Every month, once you hit that $100, then just wait till the next month. But it constantly is just out there. And that generates leads back to me, which ultimately I give out to you guys. So I think a consistent social media ad, even if your budget's like $20 a month, just something that is, I would do that showcasing you. Like I would tie, you want to know what your house is worth? Why use me as your agent? Systems that I have to help you sell your house. Like try to think like if I was a buyer or a seller on Facebook, what would capture my attention? Well, I'm a top producing agent. The systems I use to sell houses quicker than most. The systems I use to help my buyers find properties. a picture of me and my resume, and a link back to my website. Like that would be the ad that I would run as an agent. Something along those lines. Just know that whatever you run, you can create a landing page where it's like, contact me direct by clicking here. So in Facebook, you either want to drive traffic to a website, or you want to do landing page, lead generate. Those are like the two campaigns. Lead conversion, follow-up plan. So that's going to be a drip email. Calls. So my follow-up calls. That's going to be under my sync app. Drip email and follow-up calls. That's really my follow-up plan. What else do we do? Oh, mailers. Mailers monthly. We have the newsletter. Nurturing plan. So again, your sync app, you should be setting yourself up reminders. Learn, sync. YouTube videos. So they have tons of YouTube videos about how to nurture leads. What's that?
And ours are all posted on.
Oh, and ours are all posted online too. But ultimately, Sync has a great platform if you use it to set yourself up a follow-up plan. That's the whole point of that Sync app, is to give yourself reminders that say, this lead, I talked to this lead, they're ready in 12 months. Well, I need to make sure I put a reminder to call them and every month for the next 12 months to make sure I'm at top of mind. So it's your responsibility to make sure that you're putting the data into Sync to remind you to do your follow-up, because when you do start getting an abundance of leads can just be prospects. Anybody that even remotely knows you or knows real estate or is thinking about it, that's a potential lead or a business down in the future. And all you need to do is make sure that when that timing happens, you're top of mind. You are the one that they think of. That's going to take time by building that relationship. If it's an internet lead, you're starting cold because they have zero relationship with you. And the only way you're going to impress them is with your follow-up. They're going to be like, dang, you have been following up with me for the last 6 months trying to get me as a client. I'm going to give you a shot. If it's a family friend, then you don't have to be so aggressive with the follow-up. You could be more personable. Like, here's a thank you card. Here's a, hey, there was something that happened in the lending world that rates changed, and I wanted to make sure you were aware of it because I'm your, I'm the one that's knowledgeable. So when I go to these meetings at the MLS and something is happening in the community with our mayor or with an allowance for streets, I'm going to be the one that gets that information out to you because I want you to be aware of what's going on in your community. So that's the nurturing part of it. Like, I don't know how else to put that, as far as you just need to find a reason to reach out and be valued to that person. So if you're going to these MLS meetings, don't go to just sit and listen to knowledge yourself. Use that as a marketing tool to let others know what you're learning. What does that say? Oh, I didn't say that.
How would I access the MLS?
Okay. Optional. So the morning routine. What time do I have? All right, we got 10 more minutes on this. What I have learned this year with my coach is my morning routine stinks. And that is probably my biggest hurdle, is right here in this window right here. I have gotten better because this used to be my window. This is where I was a year and a half ago, as far as when I got up, I would get up, but I wouldn't get to the office until about right here. And I was destroying 5 hours a day of potential hard, busy work that I can get done. So when this window opened up, I've done all my busy work, and this is me lead generating, appointment setting, closing business transactions because I got caught up in all my paperwork. In this, the reality is like this window right here. This is when you should be getting up because this is when a work day starts. And from here to here is your personal time to get your personal life in order, to be ready in the day, to do your daily affirmations, to relax, enjoy the cup of coffee, to be prepared for the day. This is your window of like, I'm getting ready, and this is, I'm starting my day of work. And your day of work should go all the way from 8 to 5. If you're a full-time agent, guess what? Just because you started a business doesn't mean that you get banker hours. This is not a business owner's hours of operations. It is a full day of work. And ultimately means just like everybody else, you're prepping for your day to get ready, and then you're starting your day of work, and then you're closing out your day. And then at that point, I would turn my phone off. My phone gets turned off, or at least it goes on definite silence. And I don't answer it unless I know for a fact that it's an important phone call. Other than that, I'm not taking calls after about 7 o'clock. So if you get me on the phone at 7, just know that's my personal time. And it's because I actually wanted to talk to you, and it's not something that can wait till tomorrow. Because you need to set an expectation that these are the hours of operation, and outside of that is my personal life. So my morning routine was awful last year, and I've gotten it down to about this window. My challenge for myself is to get here. I think anything more than that, for me personally, is a lie. I'm not going to do it. If I got up at 6, I would be so proud of myself, because I can't even say after 39 years of life, I really have ever gotten up at 6. There's been a small window of like freshman year at high school, and that was about it. Nance, how's your morning routine?
Actually, mine is improved. Prior to getting sick, I've actually get up at about 5:15 and get to the gym between 5:30 and 5:45 because I've been working with the trainer for 2 days a week. And I notice that the days that I actually do that, then I'm very productive. I get 10 times more stuff done in the morning than I ever did before because I have gotten that burst of energy from what I'm doing. And then I try to do at least a 30-minute about me where I meditate or I do any spiritual stuff that I want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that is really what my coach has been teaching me is right about here, I'll wake up, and from 7 to about 7:20 is my personal time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm getting ready, but I'm at the office by 8 to 8:15. And the only reason that is because of kids, because we have to take the kids to school. And then after the kids go to school, we're at the office. So I got to give it to my kids. That's the reason why I'm here. This is a very common habit that most people don't roll in between 9 and 10, which means they're not getting up until 8, maybe 9 o'clock. And a portion of your morning's already gone. And by the time you actually get started around the day, you're now 10 to 11 o'clock, and you've missed a good opportunity to take a lot of the busy time. And then from 10 to 11, you're almost doing busy work, and now it's 12 o'clock lunch, and you haven't even started any prospecting or got your, how am I going to grow my business today? You've had no planning. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to go home. It's 4 o'clock. I'm done. That is a common practice in our industry is like a work day, 10 to 4, 10 to 3. They hit a wall at 3:30 and they call it good, and then they go play. And then they wonder that after a year of doing that, they haven't made any money, and they're ultimately looking for a job. It's better to start your habits right from the get-go. And if you have bad habits, you have to break them. So that's almost a 30-day challenge to go, whatever your morning routine is, bump it back an hour. 5:15, Nancy, you're amazing. Like,
Yeah.
I think anything
Well,
from here is
you know what's so good about it, though, is I'm normally home from the gym by 6:45, and I've allocated 6:45 to 7 to my cup of coffee in the morning, and I never feel guilty about it because I've already started my exercise in my day. And then from 7 until about 8, I return emails, I do all that stuff, I check the MLS. So before I get in the office later when I do, but I work from home a lot in the mornings.
Yep.
I get all that stuff done before anybody else is up, like at 8 or 8:30.
I'm the same way, 7 to 8 o'clock, I'm having my coffee, I'm still in my PJs, but I got my laptop open and I'm looking at the MLS. I'm responding back to emails that are urgent, and I'm clearing out my emails that are garbage. So when I do get to the office at 8 a.m., I got 13 emails that I have to respond to, and that's it. That's a big thing. My morning, I'll wake up and I'm laying in bed and I might do something, and then I grab my phone and I go through and I get rid of all my garbage emails. I can't tell you how many times I've opened up agents' emails and they have like 1,500 emails unread. And I go, how do you stay organized? How do you know what you're responding to and not? I love ending my day with a 0 unread email in my inbox. And that means at the start of my next day, I'll have 50 to 100 emails in my account, but 40 of them are garbage. And I'll have 30 that need to be read. And that's kind of part of my morning routine, is going through and responding to the ones that are immediate, making them not unread. And not unread to me means that I did a task. And by the end of the day, either there's stuff that's unread because I'm not going to handle it right now, or everything that is read, it's done and it's out of sight, out of mind. I took care of it.
David, one thing that might help people who have trouble getting up in the morning was something my gym coach taught me, and that was, she said that getting out of bed is the hardest part. All right, so once you get out of bed, if you would just put clothes on, whether it's gym clothes or whatever, but get out of the pajamas, then your mind comes into agreement with being up that early. And it does make a difference. I have to say, the fact that I throw my gym clothes on at 5:15 in the morning has changed what my mind is agreeing to, and I've noticed the difference.
And then the last thing to add on, is when I started using a calendar, I noticed that if I don't have something on my calendar, those are the days that I sleep in. The moment I put something on my calendar at 6 a.m., I'm now holding myself accountable, going, dang it, I have an appointment at 7, I have to get up, it's not a matter of want. And now I'm actually going, I'm excited because I have stuff to do today that makes me feel like I'm profitable, I'm doing profitable items. And so I'm actually bouncing out of bed, whereas I would drag out because I didn't have it on my calendar. But yet, if I don't get going in the morning, I will never get going in the morning. So I think by writing it down, even if it says morning coffee, that you can be excited that, sweet, I'm gonna have morning coffee this morning at 6 a.m. That type of mindset in the morning when 6 a.m. rolls around, your body is just like already programmed that, yay, it's morning coffee time. And it's even cooler if you get your coffee to set and start brewing automatically, because then you get to hear it start popping and you really are like, yeah, sweet, I better get it before it gets cold. Okay, so I'm gonna end there. I don't know what I have to. So I'm going to fill this out, my plan. My marketing, I'll come back to this. I'm going to do a recording and kind of finish this up, but I'll shoot an email out the day that I finish this up, because I think we're out of time. But again, business plans are extremely important just to get your mind, I don't know, they're just important. I mean, if you don't do them, you really are what does Nancy say? You're a boat with no sails. You're just letting the ocean.
A ship at sea with no rudder.
A ship at sea with no direction. You're just kind of floating. This 100% gives you a clear direction. And then that's, at the end of the day, if you don't have that, you're going to get too many distractions in life. And every distraction is ultimately your time, and your time is money. Okay, unless anybody else has anything else to add, I'm going to call it for the day.
Thank you.
All right, Nance, and since you're in coaching, you don't need to meet with me. Even like, don't reach out and make agents that are in coaching don't need to waste their time. But if you would like for me to look at it or be accountable or like just to get an idea of what you're shooting for, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I just had my call on 2 days ago, and we have started my plan that I have to get to her, so we're getting it done.
That's my coach is like, don't even bother. They're already on it. You're good. This is for people that have never done a business plan, or they're distracted and they need to get some focus again.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye, everybody.